just your average everyday trucker, keeping it real. I'm your host, Chris Blodgett, and you're listening to Real Talk Tuesday.
This week's topic is going to be day by day, week by week, enjoying the little things. This is episode 178. Hey guys, welcome back. As always, appreciate you being here. Apologies for my absence. I know it's been a couple weeks. I've been dealing with some stuff here at home. I don't know if I know I've talked a little bit on these episodes, and I've also talked a little bit with my buddy Dave on the Raw Chat segments about the car situation. How we went to this Ford dealer, which went at the time when we bought our cars, highly recommended them. Now, not so much. So we bought two cars at this dealership. We traded in my Ram that had a predatory title loan on it for my now Silverado, and basically bought my wife a 2022 Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk. We were both like, oh my god, that was like amazing, like can't believe that happened, that we actually were able to do that, whatever. We didn't go in there actually planning to buy two cars, it just kind of happened. We went in there, basically me driving the Ram, us going in there trying to get my wife into a car, and we happened to get into a conversation with him about basically about my truck. Because like, are you trading your truck in? I'm like, no, it's not the plan today. I was like, although it's a possibility, I'm either going to trade it or refinance it, because I said I've got a title loan on it, and it's like $8,000. I think when I looked up the balance for them, it was actually like $800 monthly payments for 36 months. So basically what's going to be way overpaying on that loan, even though they did talk about like, well, as you make payments, your actual payment amount and your interest goes down. So it's like, I guess if I had paid on it for 3 years, my payment would actually be a lot lower than the $800. So it's like you're paying on it for 3 years, but I guess it's kind of that's probably how they make it, where you're not paying like 300% interest on your loan, because $800 payment for 3 years, you're paying like what, $25,000 over the course of 3 years for an $8,000 loan. It's like, well, this is gonna suck. But I had no intentions of getting rid of that truck initially. When I got the loan, I was just gonna try to pay the loan down, pay extra towards it every payment. But then I think on that first payment, because we had just moved up here, I I was like a week late or something because we were still trying to get situated financially. And being a week late, usually on an auto loan, usually it's not going to be a big deal. Like as long as you're, you get that payment paid within, anywhere between like a week and like 30 days, you're still being reported as current. With them, I was a week late, and they basically were threatening to repossess the truck. It's like, holy crap! Like I'm only like 7 days late. Like I've already scheduled a payment with you guys. I've told you guys when I'm going to be making that payment, getting it caught up. Well, unfortunately, blah blah blah. It's if it's on your first payment, we're really strict. And so if you're late on the first payment, like they could very easily just schedule a repossession of your vehicle. I'm like, well, that's ridiculous. Like, because literally, I'm a brand new customer. I'm not even 30 days yet. I'm like a week. Like, oh yes sir, yes sir. But if this is like your second month, we're a lot more. Once you made that first payment, we're a lot more lenient at that point. But for the first payment, if they don't pay that first payment, they run the risk of basically losing their car. And it's like, I have never heard of an auto loan that, hell, if anything, most auto loans that you deal with, you get like you buy the car and you got like almost like 45 days to your first payment. Obviously, in certain situations that's different, but with them, I was surprised that it's like, hey, we're your vehicle's gonna be reviewed for possible repossession. We could schedule a payment with you. And like, okay. I was like, I don't understand. Why I don't understand why this is like for the first payment. You guys are like, there's no grace period at all. It's like, what the hell, So, I was already looking at doing something like refinancing or trading the truck in or something. And so sitting there at the dealership talking to them, I kind of explained the situation. Like, yeah, I might trade it eventually, but right now I'm not looking to necessarily. But I do have this title loan on it, and I might trade it in or might refinance it. They're like, well, how about this? Like, what if we can get your wife into the Jeep she wants, and we can get you into another vehicle, pay off your title loan, get you into a regular finance situation? And I was like, so you're saying that you think you can get us into two cars today? And they're like, yes, sir. I'm like, I'm calling bullshit, but if you think you can pull it off, I'm open. I was like, okay, so, and the guy's like, all right, can I get your keys to your truck so we can go take a look at it? Yeah, here you go, And then a little while later, they came in, they handed Aaron a set of keys, said, you want to go, ready to go test drive a vehicle we found for you? And she's like, sure. So, so we test drove the 2022 Jeep Cherokee. Of course, my wife loved it, nice car, really fancy, all the bells and whistles. And then, we come back, they're like, so what'd you think? And Aaron's like, I loved it. It's really nice. Yeah, it'd be great, but we'll see if you guys can pull it off, because we've been to multiple dealerships, we've been told different things, and, it's like, there's no, there's no guarantee, obviously, in anything. So we were there, sat there for another 20 or so minutes, my wife and I just chatting or whatever. Me still in my FedEx gear, because literally I came home and picked her up, and we went right over there, because I got messages on Messenger about it's like a Facebook event going on, and I was like, are you guys open on Monday? Like, no. Like, well, yeah, we're open on Monday, but we're closed on Sunday. At the Facebook event we have going on ends today. I'm like, oh shit, because I have to work tonight, so I really can't be out too late. But so we're sitting there and just chatting, me trying to stay awake. I literally went over to like one of the vending machines and was trying to see if I can get like a Mountain Dew or something to try to wake myself up, and funny thing is, right now I'm actually I drove over here to my daughter's school, And the other day when I came over here to pick her up, I didn't say anything. And so I just kind of like drove over here and parked. And of course, like the bus pulled in and she came out to get on the bus and didn't even notice that I was there at first. So I texted really quick, said I'm here at your school, and she came walking around the bus, and then noticed me parked in basically what's going to be her car, the 95 Buick that we have. And it was like, oh, well, yeah, I didn't know you were over here. I was like, well, I thought you would have seen your car pull up. But because my wife's in my truck currently, I'll get into that in a minute. As part of what the stuff that's been going on. So we, they walked out. They walked us out, basically handed me a set of keys that said Chevy on them. Said, hey, you want to go see your truck? I'm like, sure. So we walk out to the white Silverado, and it's like, oh, okay, that's really nice. We test drove it, came back, like, what'd you think? So initially, they tried to get me into something smaller, like, hey, well, like, what kind of vehicle would you trade in for? Like, I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, either a decent sized SUV or another truck. Like, what about a Ranger? I'm like, no. I was like, if I'm gonna get a truck, I want a full size truck that can actually tow, do stuff. Like, well, what do you tow? I'm like, the other cars every so often, like if we travel, we might have a car trailer and tow one of the cars behind us. So it was like, we test drove the truck, came back, like, what'd you think? I'm like, yeah, it was nice, I like it, I was like, I don't believe you guys can pull it off, but, we'll see if you guys can. So, Sue, sorry, just clear notifications on my stuff. Let's see. Okay. Clearing off notifications on the phone really quick while I sit here and wait. But so we sat down and all right, cool. The salesman came back over with 2 sheets of paper that had like some diagrams on it, and he's like, so this is the purchase price of the vehicle. This is how much we'll give you for your trade-ins, like $13,000. Well, it's like 12 or 13. 8,800 was gonna go to the pay off the title loan, and like 3,000 ish. Probably 3,500. Gonna be going to the going towards the trade-in, and literally gets to a part where it's like this much down, but I know we don't have that, so he just crosses it off. Basically, he's like, so obviously we're gonna cross it off. We're not gonna do that. We're 0 down today. We're gonna drop the price to this, and it's gonna make your payment this. Like, will this work? I said, if you can pull it off, sure. And then he gets the other piece of paper and has the numbers written on it and hands it to my wife. So this is the purchase price. They want this much down, but obviously we don't have that. So crosses that off, and then and then we're gonna drop the price of this, and this is your payment. Will this work? And she said the same thing I did. Like, yeah, if you can pull this off, like, I'm down. And so he walks away. And we get all financed and stuff, and we had the cars for roughly about 2 months before all this shit within the past couple weeks happened. I'm coming up on my second payment on my truck. Like, I made one payment already. My next one's in like a week or so. And we hadn't made a payment yet on the Jeep because they were still, like, the initial bank was supposed to be Capital One, but within like 3 weeks, for whatever reason, like, they backed out of the deal. So they got us approved with another bank. And that restarted the deal, which meant that pushed the first payment out again. So instead of it being like September 9th, the same day as when my payment was made, it was like, initially it was like September 29th. And the term dropped from like 72 months to 54. So her payment went from like $700 to like $900. I was like, crap, And then of course, within a couple weeks, we got, contacted by the finance guy again. Oh yeah, they changed the terms of the deal. They're dropping it to 48 months, so we need you to come back in and sign the new contract, blah blah blah. And it's like, oh, okay, So I was like, what does that take our payment to? Because we're already at $900 a month. He goes, yeah, it takes it up to 1,022. I was like, Waldo, you're fucking killing us on this car payment. I'm really sorry. It's not me. It's the bank. I'm so sorry. I'm like, okay. Well. So we came in and basically signed the new contract, and that put the payment out till the end of October. So basically, we were going on 3 months without any car payment on her car. Couldn't register it or anything because obviously we had to wait for the new updated packet that they were going to send us. And so we get within the last couple weeks, and it's probably like it was like a week and a half back, a week ago from Monday or whatever. So we're going on 2 weeks, going on a week and a half, 2 weeks. But the finance guy, at one point, because every so often I'd get a call from the lender that we were going to be financing through. Hey, we need such documentation. We need like proof of residence. We need this, we need that. And they basically like, we're going to text you a link. You have 24 hours before it expires. Just upload to that link. Okay, I can do that. Went through the welcome call with him, everything. And then we'd hear from the finance guy basically like, oh, we need like this document sent over, we need this, we need that, whatever. I'm like, okay. I was like, yeah, they already asked me for that, already updated that. They're okay. So he messaged. Hopefully that didn't buzz through, but we're doing this recording. Of course, the call came through, so I'm thinking since I'm recording straight on the phone and I'm not actually on Bluetooth, I'm hoping that it didn't buzz through, because I know on Bluetooth it'll actually, it affects it or whatever. So, and of course, like, depending on when my daughter gets out of school, this might be a 2-part, it'll all be one episode, but I might have to split the recording up because of when she comes out. Because it's like 1:10, supposed to get out by 1:30, but lately it's like 1:10, 1:15 when they start to come out. So if that ends up being the case, I might all of a sudden be like, okay, guys, so bear with me for a second. I'm going to, my kid's coming out. I'll be right back. Or right after these messages. Stay tuned after the break. So I had we got a message. I think it was like almost 2 weeks back, from the finance guy, basically saying like, hey Chris, can you have your employer call this number to talk to the bank? They need to verify your hours worked. I'm like, I was like, that doesn't make sense, because I was like, I have documentation showing what hours I work. It's hours of service. I could send myself the logs. I could forward that to you. And he was, oh yeah, that'll work. Yeah, as long as it shows your hours work, that's what we need. I'm like, okay, cool. So I sent it off to him. And then, like a week and a half later, we're still, because he's like, oh yeah, we got to get this done by like this date, so that way you're good to go. And we went like a week and a half past that date by this time. And he messages again. He goes, so unfortunately, they're like Capital One. They backed out of the deal. I tried to reapply, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, wait a minute. Like, I did a welcome call with him. Everything was good. Like, what happened? He's like, well, now they care about the Jeep that you guys surrendered back to the bank. They said that they're 100% out of the deal. And I'm like, this doesn't make sense, because everything was good. Like, we turned in everything. We did the welcome call. Everything was on track. Now, all of a sudden, he's like, well, unfortunately, the deal actually expired. And so when I went to reapply, now I would need another cosigner. And I'm like, huh. I was like, well, we don't have another cosigner, and, this is bullshit, Waldo. Like, what the fuck, I'm so sorry. There's nothing I could do. I tried with a lot, all the other banks that we work with, and nobody else is willing to approve without another cosigner, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, huh. So, and apologies again, another phone call came through, so hopefully that didn't buzz through, but hey, So, we kind of dragged our feet a little bit. He messaged the next day, we need to schedule for when you guys need to bring the car back, and blah, blah, blah. And we're like, well, he goes, can you bring it back tomorrow? We're like, no, like, we can't. Like, me and my wife's schedule overlap, and we're not gonna be able to get up to you guys. I was like, we'll try to get up to you on Saturday if that'll work. He goes, yeah, it's fine. And then Saturday came, and my wife had plans to go meet her mom on that day. Like, her and my older daughter were gonna be going to basically see my wife's mom. They were gonna go to a movie, go to dinner, or whatever. And I just told her, I said, go ahead, take your car. Like, I'm just, if he asks, I'll just tell him that I got held up at a customer, and so I got back late after they were already closed, and so we'll just deal with it. We'll probably just deal with it Monday. But it was also trying to buy time, trying to look over the contract and see if there was, because from what I heard online, if there's like nothing in the contract about like contingent upon financing clause in there, then you have a legal right to, hold on a second. I just had to, oh, here she comes. All right, so I'll be right back. Hang on, bear with me. Hey guys, sorry about that. Literally, as I was, in the middle of what I was talking about before, I glanced up and realized, oh crap, the school bus is here and they're blocking where I'm parked. So I wanted to make sure that my daughter actually knew that I was there. So, while recording, I went out and, sent her a quick text message to kind of let her know, hey, I'm here. And of course, she was like, I saw you pull up. Like, okay. Because the other day she didn't. I was sitting there, she started getting on the bus, and I'm like, I'm here at your school. She was, oh. Came out looking for me, and she found me. So I was like, okay. But wanted to come on here real quick, go ahead and finish this up. Obviously it's going to be a little bit shorter of a real talk episode because I just didn't have the time to hop on and finish it earlier. We got home and I had to take care of a few things, and of course the sink was full, so I had to do family stuff, household chores, whatnot. Didn't want the wife to come home from work and have the dishes be piled up, so came home and did what I had to do. And we're talking like I had a lot of stuff soaking on one side because it was like stuff that was caked on. I was like, yeah, I better soak that. And then there's some things on the right side of the sink, so we're talking like enough was caked on that like the water that they were soaking in was kind of not the prettiest. So I had my youngest, she was standing, I guess she was heating up some chicken fries or whatever, and I was like, bud, watch this. I literally put my right hand just deep into the water to grab the plug to pull it, and she's like, you're the only one in the household who will willingly put your hand on that sludge. I said, somebody's got to do it. I was like, it has to get done. I was hoping that one of you might have done it, but, I figure if I don't do it, it's not going to get done, so I might as well go ahead and finish it up. So that took like 40 minutes, 45 minutes. Got everything washed, got the sink clear, got the dishwasher running. The wife was home by this point, and at that point, I had also took some more recycling stuff out because we were putting the trash and recycling out because they picked those up between like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. tomorrow. A lot of the neighbors around here, we all put everything out on Tuesday night. So it's either put it out before I lay down at like 5 or 6 to go to sleep, or I, wheel them out when I'm getting ready to leave. But that would be an extra thing I'd have to do. I already still have to wash my coffee mug and my cold beverage mug, that I fill up at Love's every night when I'm working. I bring those home on my Friday. It's technically Sunday morning, and bring those home to give them a nice wash. And then every day when I get done and get parked, I do a quick rinse out at the truck. Usually using my water bottle, just kind of like make sure to dump them out, rinse them out with water, That way I'm good for the next night, and I still rinse them out at Love's using their sink or whatever before I fill them up again. One of the cashiers, he was like, as I'm filling up these coffee mugs or the coffee mug and the 52 ounce cold beverage, rinse those out with water. He's like, we're gonna start charging you a water bill. I said, oh, okay, so about like $3 because water bill is not it. Now I'll pay your water bill if you take my electric bill. So, well, yeah, fun times. So honestly, and I apologize too, because these episodes I know they're gonna post a little bit late. Was trying to get them in on the Tuesday when I normally do, but I am, as I record this, just to finish up that episode, I'm probably gonna, I don't know, I might just post them a little bit later, like either post them tomorrow, so again, apologies, or I might get them done, because technically it's not that hard to get them done. I just got to do the edits and whatnot, but I also got to get to sleep so I can rest up enough so that I'm not tired of shit when I work tonight. So I'm debating on, now obviously if you hear this on a Tuesday, then I went ahead and, did the edits and got the final versions completed and went ahead and got them scheduled. But there's a chance if you're listening to this and they didn't show up till like Wednesday. That's why. So I apologize. But, part of it is just, with everything going on, just trying to take it day by day, week by week, and just trying to, quote unquote, be okay, if you know what I mean. Because a lot of times I'm fine, and there's a lot of times, like most of us, we might put on a smile. And, it's like you see those reels on Instagram where it's a guy with a beard talking about, like, if a guy comes to you and says, yeah, I'm alright, that guy's not alright. He's battling demons that you have no idea about. And then at the end of the reel he goes, so yes, I'm alright too. And I'm like, that's pretty much how it is, like, put on a smile around those you love. Just do your best to be okay, even when you're not, which a lot of us, we're not okay quite a bit, but we show up, we do what we gotta do. I know sometimes the sad reality is there's people that'll say I'm not alright, or that I'm alright, and then all of a sudden they make that decision to leave us, to end it all. And it's like, that's sad when it gets to that point, because none of us should have to feel like we're that alone, like we're that dealing with that much depression, that much sadness in our life, that you don't feel like there's any other choice but to give yourself an out. And I'm kind of burying my soul here for you guys, because I know that as a trucker and as a solo driver, being out away from home a lot and stuff, even though I'm home every day, at one point back before like 2019, I was actually over the road for like 8 years, home every 3 or 4 weeks. It was tough, and even though I'm home every day, I'm grateful for that, but I still struggle quite a bit. I find that I get back to the hub after doing whatever run I'm doing. I get back to the hub with my empties. I get them dropped, and then I'll literally, like, even though I know I want to get home because I'm tired, want to get home, want to go out in the e-bikes with the kiddo and get to sleep, I will sit there in the truck scrolling TikTok, Instagram, whatever, for like easily hour and a half before I finally like, okay, I really gotta go. And there'll be times that some of the reels that I'm coming across, like, I'll watch the reel and I'll just, you get emotional, like, for lack of a better term, practically break down sobbing, just depending on what the reel's about, and it could be, like I said, about like, hey, put on a smile and just tell the world you're okay, even if you're not, it's like there's not really going to be a whole lot of people in your life that will come to your aid. So, like, if there's people in your life that can help you, a lot of times those people are going to judge you. Well, why do you need that? Like, why do you need help with that? Like, why couldn't you do such and such? Hell, I've got family, I've got relatives that will lecture me and my wife about the fact that we don't have, we have joint accounts, but our individual paychecks actually go separately. Like mine goes to, my Sophie account, hers goes to Cash App, whatever, but we coordinate together, like every week. That way, we each kind of feel like we have somewhat control over the money we're bringing in, but we're still joint. Like we're still, hey, what needs to be paid this week? What do I need to do? Such and such, blah, blah, blah. That's why it was funny when we were dealing with a car situation where I think I mentioned in part 1 before the break, I thought I mentioned, I'm not sure. So if I did, great. If I didn't, I'm going to try to repeat it here probably. But I think I did, actually, thinking back. But so basically the finance guy contacted us and basically said, oh yeah, the bank pulled out, they now want another cosigner, blah blah blah. We're like, but I'm the main buyer, my wife's the co-buyer, so we already have technically a cosigner. He was wanting us to get a second one. I'm like, I'm not gonna do that, So then when we dropped the car off, we were talking to his boss, and his boss told us a different story. It wasn't that we needed another cosigner. It was that basically because we already knew that our finance guy had fucked up and let the deal expire, and then he went to reapply and they had other terms, but it wasn't what the finance guy said. It was basically the boss said he went and printed off. He said, no, I pushed it through and we got it approved again, but they want to trade it now. Like, why? It was because your truck is now showing on your credit report, plus the Jeep that you guys surrendered back to the bank because it was mechanically just wasn't worth keeping. That's still showing as an active auto loan on your credit. So they want one of those as a trade-in, and obviously we're not going to do that because you just bought the truck from us and the other Jeep is gone. So I was like, oh, okay, well, but if you want to give it a couple months, let that fall off and then come back here. And we're like, well, I mean, by that point you will have sold our Jeep. So he's like, yeah, but we'll have other cars. I'm like, yeah, but we bought this one. We've been in this one the past 2 months. So I was like, I'm telling you now, like, the way Waldo fucked us over, we ain't coming back. Not even for parts or service. Like, I'm not having my vehicle worked on at your dealership. Like, I'm not stepping foot in here. I'm not doing it. So we left, and I've been driving the 95 Buick that will be my daughter's car that I got that belonged to my grandfather. She's gonna have that one once she gets her license. And I even told her, like, hey, graduate and get your license, I'll sign that car over to you. Like, it'll be your car 100%. She was okay. I said, on one condition. She said, what that? I was like, I'm gonna give you the car, but if you ever decide that you want to get a different car and you want to get rid of the Buick, I said, I want you to bring it back. She goes, I don't see that happening. Like, I don't see me wanting to get rid of it. I said, okay, cool. I said, I just want to keep it in the family, so if you decide you don't want it, I'll take it back. She goes, okay. So, because it's like, hell, any other car that we have, I'm not necessarily sentimentally attached, but that car, literally, I remember riding in it with my grandparents, like, many, many years ago. Because I think they bought it brand new, probably in 95, so it's like, it's been in the family for a long time. My parents inherited it, and then they passed it down to me, and I was like, hell yeah, I'll take it. So basically I've been driving the Buick while my wife drives my truck, and we have a dealership we're working with right now that I stumbled upon. I don't know how I got in touch with them, but they have in-house financing. The payment, we found a 2018 Jeep Compass. It's not as much decked out, doesn't have leather seats, bells and whistles, whatever, but it does have four-wheel drive, and it has the remote start and the start-stop. So, like, if you're at a stoplight, whatever, it does have those options. So we went and test drove it. Actually, beforehand, I was like, hey, we're going to go ahead and apply on your website so that we know what we're working with before we come in there, because I don't want to come in there, sit, and basically be told, yeah, we can't get you financed. So we did everything first, and he was like, I'm pretty sure, because we have such and such option, I think we could get you financed for that, because we were like, well, we're waiting on our down payment, it's $1,000, coming back from the other dealer, they mailed it, so we're like waiting for that to arrive. But we applied and said we'd have that go as a down payment, and but we're just waiting on it to come back. And so they're like, yeah, so the bank approved. They're cool, $1,000 down for that Compass. When do you want to come in here and test drive? And we're like, we'll come in there right now. So I got off work, came home, picked Aaron up. We drove out there, saw the Compass, and took it for a nice long test drive. It's actually a little bit south of my work. So I drove first because they had it like parallel parked in between two of the cars. And so I had to do the 10-point turnaround kind of thing just to get out of that spot. And my wife's like, yeah, I'm glad you're doing this because I don't want to do this shit. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of why I figured I'd drive first. So I got out of the space, went down the highway, drove up, literally past my work, went down the street to Love's. I said, I'm going to pull into Love's and we'll switch. She goes, okay. And then we switched. She drove back, and that was Saturday, and they're closed Sunday, Monday. So basically, I talked to them today, and we're still waiting on that check. It hasn't been delivered in the mail yet. So we ended up, we basically were like, yeah, we're interested. We'd like this car. He's okay, cool. So we're gonna put that on hold for a couple days for you. We'll touch base on Tuesday to find out what's going on. So I talked to him today, yeah, we're still waiting on the check. It hasn't come yet. He's like, well, okay. He's like, all right, technically we can't hold cars, but I will talk to my sales team, and make sure that they just sell around that car. We'll try not to sell that car. But if it does sell, we have other cars, obviously. I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. You could do a deposit of like $500, and I don't recommend that usually unless you know for a fact you're going to buy the car, because once you do that deposit, you don't get that money back if you change your mind. I'm like, well, we're not changing our mind. So I was like, we could probably do that deposit tomorrow. The wife gets paid tomorrow. I get paid Thursday night. And then we can pay we can pop in there on Friday and finalize all this with the remaining $500. He's like, all right, cool, yeah, that would work. So it shouldn't sell by tomorrow. So hopefully by the time she gets paid, she can call them and they can send her through to whatever website she has to go on to pay the bank the $500 deposit, and then they'll hold the car for us, and then we'll pick it up Friday. So in the meantime, this week we've actually got my daughter's long-term boyfriend. They've been together for a couple years, and they're pretty serious, and he's really great with her kiddo. So he's up here visiting and staying downstairs with them. So it's been cool to have him around and stuff for a couple days. But so yeah, it's in the meantime, while we're waiting on trying to finalize these car details and get her into a car that's half the car payment of the one that we turned in, the other one that you bumped it up to $1,022 a month for 4 years, and we're like, good Lord. But I don't know how many years the current one that we're going to be picking up. I just know that they said they thought it was going to be $250 every 2 weeks. And we're like, that's actually a lot better than what we're going to pay with the other one. So we will totally do it, and it's reliable. And basically the bank gives you the option. He said, because it's an older, it's got 115,000 miles on it. And the guy we're working with said the bank actually will give us the option, if we want to put a warranty on, a 2-year warranty on the car, and it'd be an extra $2,500, so we'll add a little bit onto the car payment. But we're like, yeah, we'll totally do that because it's good to have a warranty if it's offered. I don't have a warranty on my truck, that's fine. Trucks are usually built really well, and usually don't have to worry about them. I have a warranty on my Ram, and I never had any issues with it. So had it for 5 years and still wasn't having any issues when I traded it out. So yeah. In the meantime, while we're doing that, I've just basically been going out almost daily on the bike with my youngest, getting about 10-ish miles, 10 to 12 miles. My battery, once I get towards that 10-mile mark, is down to 1 bar, and I'm like, I don't want to push it too much. But then yesterday I pushed it a little bit. We got to 12, It was close to 12 miles. And by that point, we came up a hill after getting the mail, and we were getting ready to come down the hill towards home, and my battery literally started flashing. Like, it went to like where there's no bars, and it started flashing. I said, oh shit. I said, okay, time to go down the hill and go home, because probably would have lasted another 10 minutes. So got it home, plugged it back in. It's like, woo. So, because the regular bikes, you can pedal, but if you don't have the thing turned on, the pedal is very stiff. It's hard to pedal like a normal bike if you can't turn it on. You can turn it on and not use the throttle at all and just pedal, and it'll help you a little bit. So, but if it's turned off, it's totally stiff. So, been enjoying the little things with the fam, spending time with the wife, hanging out and chatting with my oldest and her boyfriend while he's here, and then hanging out with the youngest. And the last couple days I've been off, I went ahead and she took the bus in the morning to go to school, and then being that I'm trying to drive the Buick a little bit more to keep it active, not just let it sit in the garage. I been picking her up at school the past couple days. Yeah, just a reason to get out of the house. And yesterday when I picked her up, I was like, I offered, I was like, hey, not just with the youngest, but I put in the group chat, I was like, hey, Allie and you guys up for swinging back home and picking you up? Like, we can do Golden Corral. Like, if you guys could cover yourself, I can cover me and Bug. And they're like, no, we're good. And I'm like, okay. So Zoe was like, I'm good with Golden. I'm like, all right, well. I was like, yeah, because I wanted to get some decent sustenance right now. So we went to Golden Corral and got some food. So it was pretty awesome. Needed some food, needed some caffeine. So it was like a mellow yellow for the drink. And then did the fried catfish and okra. And I think I got some pot roast and some potatoes and stuff like that, So yeah, it was good. And then went on a bike ride for like an hour or two. And didn't go out today, but we were kind of like, when I picked her up, she was like, can we go to Casey's to get a pizza? I'm like, yeah. So of course you have to wait, because gotta put your order in and then wait for them to make it. I'm like, oh, Casey's actually delivers. That's cool. And I was like, obviously we're here, so we don't need to worry about that. But the whole point of the topic this week is mainly, a lot of us aren't, and probably haven't been for a while. Okay. But the important thing, no matter what, we just have to keep pushing forward and do whatever you have to do. Enjoy the little things. Enjoy time with the fam. I enjoy my drinks on my days off. It's a way that literally just mellows me out. Like, I don't even drunk text anybody or get violent or aggressive or what do they call it, liquid courage. No, I'm the kind of the laid back, chilled out, lazy drunk. It's like I will literally just be drinking my drinks and just all chill and mellow and stuff on the couch, watching Netflix, whatever. It's, that's just how I roll. Helps me to shut my mind off, to not think about all the stuff that I'm working towards, that I have no idea how long it's going to take to get to the points where I want to be to, So on that note, for anybody looking for a way to make passive income, I'm telling you, this Bit Harvest thing that I'm doing, that I literally just log in to check my balance every so often, because I earn every day. And you don't have to build a team if you don't want to, but if you have a group, like a bunch of people that follow you, whatever, hey, you actually earn off them as well. Daily, like every day, depending on how many shares they have or how many full units they buy, whatever. And it's permanent. Like, you don't have to get a share or a unit and then redo it in like 6 months. Once you have one active, it's going and they're mining for you. So go to passive Bitcoin247.com to check that out. And I am definitely planning to figure out how to get a support link up so we can, have another support link for the podcast, as well as I will get things written. It's just a matter of, when you're dealing with life in general and throwing different things at you, whatever. It's like I'm handling them and things are getting taken care of. It's just, man, like we're dealing with the dealership that we gave the Jeep back to. Like I was fighting back and forth with that finance guy saying like, dude, like what the hell happened? Like we were at the finish line, they did the welcome call, like we were financed. Like what the hell? And oh, it expired. So literally I messaged my wife and said, this has just stressed me the fuck out. She's like, yeah, I know. I was like, Waldo is such a dumbass. I don't know what. So if you go to buy a car anywhere here in Kansas City, stay away. Normally I would, like when we first bought the cars, I was like, oh, go to this Ford dealership, they're great. No, their finance guy's an idiot, doesn't take responsibility for what he did. He literally was blaming us, and we're like, we did everything we're supposed to do. You didn't give us the right information, and you let the deal expire, and now we can't get it approved. So Greenway Ford in Raytown, Missouri, stay away. Do not do business with them. They're not worth it. Some of the guys there are nice, but their finance guy, they need to, I've been half tempted to message and say, like, I will do business with you guys in the future, but you need to fire Waldo. Like, you need to replace him because he screwed you guys on that deal. Because we are all ready to go, only to have to turn the car in. It's like, yep, not do business with you. So, on that note, you guys have a great rest of your week. And stay tuned, obviously, for the Raw Chat episode, and I will talk to you guys on the next Real Talk Tuesday. And again, apologies for my absence, but I will try my best to get back on top of things and get things recorded and have things ready to go, so that way I can get back into posting every week. It's just been, with the finances and stuff, high stress, just trying to do what I can, So on that note, I love you all. There's absolutely nothing you can do about it. Believe me, people have tried. I appreciate you tuning in with me every week. Obviously, if anybody, wants to help, I don't have a link, but feel free to message me at blodgetshowpodcast@gmail.com, and I will, send you a PayPal link or whatever if you want to assist. But hey, not asking for help at all. Just keep tuning in, keep supporting in that way. Tell your friends, help me to grow this podcast and stuff. And little shout out to my co-host on the Raw Chat episodes, my buddy Dave. I always look forward to our chats. They're always awesome. So on that note, thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you, and we'll talk to you later. Have a good one.